All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Hello and welcome to the penultimate round of the ISRL Division 2 Championship, and what a race we have in store for you all today. It is time for I guess we can call it the Italian Grand Prix, but we are not here in Monza. We are actually here in Imola. It's the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, or San Marino for those who might remember that from back in the day. But we are here and we are live and we are ready to go, kicking things off in our short qualifying session as we always do, following the formerly known as the championship leader, but now officially the champion of Division 2. It's Zuwil, who is out on an outlap right now and going to be leading the charge. Now, for those who maybe saw the social medias, if not, definitely give those a follow wherever you like to social media. But he is actually the champion now officially. The point gap is enough. He has been crowned champion here with 2 rounds left, but that doesn't mean we don't have a bunch of action. But first and foremost, let's jump on board with Zuwil, get an idea of what he's done here so far to bring us to that championship as he heads down towards turn 1 here. A bit of a later braking zone than you might expect, into a chicane down in 4th, up the gears as he heads down that kink. Watch out on that outside corner for an invalidation here. Another little chicane, just glide the car into that corner there. You don't want to get on the brakes too quickly. Now into a hard banking left-hand corner down in 3rd. You can take it in 2nd if you're not feeling comfortable, but 3rd is ideal. You can see a slight little kink before a fast left-hander here. Watch the outside exit, but this next corner coming up is the tricky one. You just chuck it in quickly on the brakes, but watch out when you get on the power on the exit. Very easy to spin the car if you're not careful. But Zuwil doing it great. Now into a little chicane here. Reminds me a little bit of Monza there, that chicane. A little clunky, a little awkward as you take it in 2nd or 3rd gear on the power. Into the final few corners now. A little, it's 2 separate corners, not quite enough to be just a double apex corner, but you can see that. First one in 3rd, second one in 4th, quickly on the power. Slight little kink before you head to the line, and it's a 17.1 for Zuwil here for the time to beat, with Krishna going about 0.2 slower than Zuwil, but very crucially, Krishna is there on the medium tires. So an interesting call here from the Ferrari of Krishna, who's had, I'll be honest, a very strong set of races here, and VR46 Jarno, a 115.5 as he takes provisional pole on the medium tires, a 115.5, rotation with a 115.8, so Fion as well with a 116.1, so Zuwil actually a little off the pace there for that first lap on the soft tires. Either that, or we're just seeing the power of the medium tires here around this track. But VR46 Jarno, as we've seen a couple times here in the past, is occupying that provisional pole position, and VR46 Jarno, like I feel like I've mentioned this week in, week out, he's had a strong few showings, or a strong couple showings here within the last few races. He is continuing that as SFR Morris crosses with a 115.7 to take P2. But back to VR, like I said, he's had a strong couple races here. He's continuing that trend. Just unfortunately, it's seemingly just a little too late for the championship. As like we're mentioning, Zuwil already has that locked up. ISRL Knight, who was the main championship rival, or one of the main championship rivals here, is actually takes that provisional pole position, a 115.291. So that is the new time to beat from Knight now, as like I said, he goes up into P1. He's I believe in P2 in the championship as of right now. As let me just pull up the standings here for the most up-to-date standings, which are relatively kind of up to date. I know Knight and Nazareth were switching between P2 and we're switching between P2 with Zuwil with that lead. There is Nazareth running an outlap right now in that Mercedes, so in a slightly different seat than what we're used to. It looks like Jav took over that AlphaTauri here today. So Nazareth running in the Mercedes, but we'll see how that's going to affect. I think they most likely will still honor the constructors' points here for Nazareth's official team. But that is the case here. But still, definitely a battle between Nazareth and Knight for that runners-up spot. And VR, like I said, not too high up. Well, actually, he's actually running in fourth. So yeah, very high up there, but just had a little bit of a point gap, which might be why I've forgotten him. I'm really sorry, VR, but definitely still in that running here with that strong showing. Captain Blade, though, on your screen right now, and that Alfa Romeo hasn't invalidated lap time. So let's actually switch over to Nazareth, who's running a flying lap. You can see takes that corner a little bit wide. Thankfully, keeps that valve, just keeps that just within the track limits. But the next corner, though, not so lucky. That ever so tricky corner there, more of a double apex corner right before the chicane. That one for Nazareth, as I'm sure it will be for so many other drivers, invalidated that lap time. But here comes Demorts now through that same corner. You can see down in third goes Demorts and quickly up into fourth, and just give that extra rotation of the car around that corner there. And that looked to be enough for Demorts. Goes purple in the second sector, so let's just stick on board with the Red Bull driver here as he's going to finish a lap. Now, Demorts has had a really strong season as well. He's always been up there in the battles on track, and we'll see if he can keep that up here today as he's about to cross the line. Goes fifth fastest, so definitely puts himself in a good spot right near VR, Luchis, and Krishna now, as DeRoy, holy moly, DeRoy sets a very fast, a 1:14.9, so beats that pole position time by about 0.3 of a second, and that is the McLaren driver who is, sitting in P1, and, he didn't just beat it a while ago as he's coming around the track now. I think he's going to dive into the pits, but that previous lap time was a great lap to be set, as he is the first driver to break into the sub-115s here. Who else is running? I think Nazareth might be, I don't know if he's trying another one here. He is using some ERS, but he doesn't have much in the tank right at the end of the lap, so let's just stick with the Mercedes outfitted driver here this week as he comes around the final corner. Is he gonna go for it? It looks like he will. Takes that quick line to the line. It goes up to P6. It's Nazareth here, so 1:15.6 for the Mercedes driver for his first lap time. And yeah, like I said, up into P6, a good lap time for him there. We'll see if he can improve. He is on 2-lap old soft tires, so can, in theory, put on a fresh set and go back out once again for another lap. Rotation, meanwhile, looks like he's running a lap himself on a fresher set of softs. So let's see what he's going to do here, as he's got just that final corner to take. Keeps it clean through the final corner, maneuvers the king, crosses the line, and he jumps up to provisional pole here. Knocks about a second off of his previous time, and it's a 1:14.846 as VR46 Yarno very quickly goes ahead and says, nope, that's my provisional pole position here. He sets a 1:14.543 for that fastest lap of the session here so far, with what I can only assume might be about half the session left. We've got some yellow flags, so I'm not able to quite see the timing. Yep, 8 minutes to go, so still half a qualifying left here, or just under half. So still definitely loads of time to see drivers improve, and you can see the likes of DeRoy, Knight running on outlaps, and also keep an eye on Krishna, currently in the pits, but he's got a 1:15.5 that was set on the medium tires. He ran those for 4 laps, and I think he might just switch over to a set of soft tires now, and he's going to try to improve here. So Fion, he's only got a 1:16.1 to his name, does the McLaren driver, so I think he's going to try to go much faster this time around. He had that banker lap set, I believe, and I think now he's going to go for it. Maybe feeling a little bit more comfortable with his setup here around Imola the second time around. Let's see what it's going to look like as he gets to the end of Sector 2. We'll ride on board with him, actually, as he goes through that the fast left-hander leading into the ever so dangerous, ever so tricky double apex corner here. as I'm going to call it. Don't know the corner names, don't know the corner numbers either. And I'm seeing Bacher, as Sofian was about 7/10 quicker from what I saw on the timing section. Bacher is actually out of qualifying here. I'm trying to figure out where that was. I didn't see that happen. It almost looks like it's... no, actually, it's not at the front. I'm not too sure where Bacher finished, unless he just retired in the pits. That could be a possibility as well. There's a lap time from Sofian, though, all the while. That's a little bit more representative of his pace here that we've seen in the championship, a 1:14.8. And you can see the time starting to fall here. A lot more drivers lapping within the sub-115s. So we'll see how everybody else is going to react to that. We've got 4 so far, including what is now the 2 McLarens of Sofian and DeRoy. And speaking of DeRoy, he's running a flying lap right now, and we'll have to see if he's going to be going quicker. I'm not too sure what the times were for Sector 1 and 2, but we'll get an idea if he does improve as he heads towards the line now, crosses it, and he does go faster, but only by about 0.5 of a second, goes up into P3, so does outqualify his teammate here by about 2 1/1000ths of a second. So the 2 McLarens very much so on pace with one another, but it's still VR46 Jarno with about a 0.3 of a second lead on that provisional pole position, as qualifying is ticking down here. But now I'm looking here, you've got the likes of Captain Blade and Jordan looking at the opposite end of the timing tables, who have yet to set a lap time here in this session, so they might want to get on that quickly. Not too sure if it's just through lack of trying or through invalidations. We see Jordan, who's taking a flying lap right now. Captain Blade currently in the pits, so I think Captain Blade might be struggling with track limits here, getting a couple invalidated laps, so not looking to pursue longer than he has to. But like I said, with time ticking down, he is going to have to possibly get himself in gear a little bit and get at least a lap time set on the board, or else he might risk starting from way down the order here on this track. And ooh, there was Jordan, I think losing the car a little bit, trying to keep that under control, but in the process goes a little bit wide through that corner, and that's an invalidation for Jordan as well. As you can see, he's gonna have to try to go again, a bit more shuffling up at the front of the order, as Knight goes second fastest, still missing about 1/10 of a second to, or just under 1/10 of a second to snag that provisional pole from VR, who's currently on an outlap right now, getting that last little preparation done. 4 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Rotation was trying to go a little bit quicker, but had an invalidation, so not ideal for Rotation, as he's going to have to go again, currently occupying 3rd though, so still a good lap from him. You can see a little bit of the order shaking here. Krishna up into 6th, Nazareth in 7th, Demorts in 8th so far in this session. But here comes VR, as he's going to look to try to improve his lap time here. We'll stick with him, see what he can do, as very quickly switching over to Jordan, who's being brought into the pit lane. He might try to get out one more time here before the end of the session and put something on the board. You can see Captain Blade as well on an outlap, so he's going to be trying to do something a little bit similar here. But now VR through Sector 1 as he's approaching Sector 2, nearing that very quick, very fast left-hander, takes it in 5th, just sticking on track here with the track limits, using up as much as he can of what they're going to allow. But oh no, that's an invalidation from VR46 Jarno, so will not be improving. Very unfortunate, but he was 0.3 of a second slower than his previous lap time, so it might not matter all that much for him here, as it seemed like he was going a little bit slower. But this is now, I think, where we're going to see a lot of drivers just trying to get that last little bit of, that last lap in here. Lucchese is currently on a lap right now as he's approaching that double apex corner. He keeps it valid. We'll see what the time is going to look like in Sector 2. He does have a little bit of traffic, as you can see that McLaren gets out of the way there, and he's essentially running a very similar pace here of his previously best time, as Jav is now out of this qualifying session. I believe he retired in the pits here with 2 minutes to go. Doesn't feel like he's going to improve. Happy with the time, so that's going to be the end of Jav's qualifying. Meanwhile, Lucchese doesn't feel like he's going to improve, so dives into the pits, and that, I think, is going to be the end of his session as well. Hartman looking to improve as he's in the Haas heading around to the line. Let's see where he's going to end up. Was essentially the same time for Hartman. He's going to remain down in 16th place. Captain Blade finally gets a lap time on the board. It's a 1:15.1, so a pretty good lap time all considered. Brings him just within the top 10 here, but with 1:30 to go in this session, I think we might see a couple lap times speed up here. Here comes SFR Morris as he's approaching the end of Sector 2. Ooh, oh no, and that's a bit of a spin from SFR Morris, and that's that double apex corner I was talking about. We finally caught one here, as he's going to have to get back on track, but SFR Morris just showing us the dangers of that corner, why you want to be cautious on the power. You want to get as much of the car as you can, or get as much power as you can, but that is the risk reward there. Did not work out for Morris there, unfortunately, as he might just quickly want to plan that out and maybe get one more attempt in once he gets the temperatures under control here with 45 seconds to go. Dark running a flying lap. You can see the front runners all on an out lap right now, starting their flying lap, and I think a rotation is going to be leading the way from that group of cars. So we'll keep an eye out on them in just a few moments here. I'll switch over to rotation, who's leading the charge here with 20 seconds to go. It's really the end, the last possible laps these drivers can set. This is truly going to be the shootout for pole position here, and we'll see how it's all going to play out. Oh no, and Dark invalidates the lap time through the chicane. Not ideal for Dark there, as that's going to be the end of his qualifying. Jordan had an invalidation as well. You can see Hartman and Com Koala equally having that invalidation, but there is a VR on a lap right now. But let's switch over to Rotation, who, oh no, had a spin. Rotation had a spin, so he's getting out of the way here. Really unfortunate. And so Fion had an invalidation. Where is Krishna? There is Krishna here coming through. I think he's got VR just behind him here. We'll keep an eye out as Nazareth just starting a lap time. He just caught through the across the line in time, so timed it perfectly. But I think D-Morts is going to be the first of these big names to fall. So Fion, it's a 1:14.8 for his best time. Here comes D-Morts around the final corner as he heads towards the line. Is he going to jump up? Only to 7th for D-Morts, as we'll switch over to Krishna next. Night diving into the pits will not improve. I think so. We saw Rotation as he went for a spin. He's going to dive into the pits here. No improvement from him. It's going to come down to essentially, I believe, Krishna, VR, and Nazareth here. Here comes Krishna across the line. What's it going to be? He's going to remain in P6. Where's VR? He crosses the line, goes 3/10 slower, so the 1:14.5 is going to remain as the time to beat. I think all eyes now are going to be on Nazareth. What can he do as he's heading towards the line? I don't think it's going to be an improvement, though, as we saw that very briefly there. 7 seconds slower for Nazareth, so it is going to be the Williams driver of VR46 Yarno who will be starting from pole position here. DeRoy came close. He set a 1:14.550, but by about 7/1000ths of a second, VR46 Yarno just snags that pole position. We saw some very good challenges from the likes of both Knight and both night and rotation, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. You can see Nazareth stuck in a little bit of that, I guess you could call it that bug, but I think he realized that and very quickly retires out of this qualifying session. Love to see that sportsmanship there from the driver there. Here is Hartman, who's just being towed into the pits, and there you have it. That is the end of our qualifying session officially here as we're on board with the Haas. Getting that, or getting a lap done, getting that in-lap done here. But there we have it. Officially here on the timing tables, it is VR46 Yarno who is starting from pole position. As mentioned, for the Williams, that 114.543 was just enough to snag that pole position. DeRoy came close, 7/1000ths of a second off of the time. He will be starting on the front row of the grid at the very least, but starting in second position, so doesn't quite have that ideal starting spot compared to VR. Knight was within 1/10 of a second, but unfortunately only third for the Alpine driver here, but still a great qualifying showing from the Alpine driver with rotation in the Red Bull. Once again, showing some form here in Division 2, will be starting from P4, but of course, for rotation, as we're heading into the race, like we mentioned, week in, week out, it's about the consistency for the Red Bull driver. He's got the pace back in for that one lap pace, but the question is, can he keep that up here for what is going to be 32 laps around this circuit here in Imola? And there we have it. Not quite sunny, but doesn't quite look like it's going to be rainy conditions here, at least to start the race. It's a little bit cloudy, so might put a little bit more emphasis, a little bit more focus on that formation lap to get the heat into the tires, as drivers are essentially getting that last little bit of strategy sorted and ready to go here. Figuring out what they want to do for fuel, how they want to go about their pit stop strategy here, and of course, for those outside of the top 10, trying to figure out what tires they want to start on and plan their strategy accordingly here. So we've got a few moments here, and it's definitely going to be a very good race. I am excited to kick things off, and ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're as excited as I am to watch this race. It is a new circuit here, so of course we have limited knowledge of how things are going to play out, especially in the first few laps. We've seen how things worked out in the real life Grand Prix. We know Division 3 had a little bit of a chaotic lap 1, turn 1. Division 4 was a little bit chaotic as well here. From at least my point of view in Division 4, haven't quite seen it. We'll see how Division 2 handles it, but as 20 cars are going to get ready to go and charge down into turn 1, we'll see how it all plays out, and of course who will end up on top at the end of this race. But the clock has ticked down here, as in just a few moments we'll see the one red light tick off, and we will get started for the formation lap. Here we go. There's that one red light. It is now off, and VR46 Yarno leads the way, as you can see Knight in that Alpine right behind, really getting that practice start down. I think he's trying to work out that strategy of possibly looking to split the two front runners here, maybe try to steal the lead going into turn 1 there, or maybe playing some mind games to the leaders here. But we'll see, as I was saying, how this is all going to play out as we head towards as we're getting through the formation lap. But let's get the tire graph up and see what everybody's looking to do for strategy. So top 2, or essentially everybody in the top 10, starting on the soft tires. That's VR, DeRoy, Knight rotation, Sofia and Krishna on the 3rd row, D-Morts, Nazareth on row 4, and SFR Morris, Captain Blade occupying row 5 here, all on the soft tires. Do-Will, essentially not like it matters much, having clinched the championship like we mentioned previously, but he's got that best of the rest there, and he's going to be starting on the medium tires, and we can see a little bit of a trend here from Jay Wills, and Jav down in 13th, all starting on the medium tires. Lucci's, meanwhile, he's looking for that extra grip, extra pace off the start on the softs. Dark pulling that strategy we've seen him go for in the past. Puts on the hard tires to start the race. He's going to look to go very long here. We'll see how that's going to work out for him. He has essentially dubbed that strategy his own in the past, and we've seen it work out in the past. So definitely a driver to look out for. Maybe not off the start, but as this race plays along. Here, Jordan in 16th on the soft tires, with Hartman and Calm Koala 17th and 18th on the medium tires. Bacher, meanwhile, he's last of the running cars in the Ferrari, putting on a set of soft tires himself for the start of the race. He's going to be looking for that extra jump, so watch out for him to maybe gain a couple positions here off the line going into turn 1 with that extra grip. But you can see the final drivers now occupying their grid spots right now. So in just a few moments, it is going to be time for the 5 red lights and the start of the Imola Grand Prix here at Circuit Emilia Romagna. I am ready to go. Here we go, up to 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights. And the lights are off, and we are racing, as it was a quick set of lights. And oh no, there's that looks to be Jordan off the line, who just had not gotten a start. And Knight gets exactly the start he was hoping for. Takes the lead of the Grand Prix. DeRoy up in second. What happened to VR46 Jarnos? He's down in 5th position right now. We did not get a view, but VR, a terrible start here on the softs. As you can see, the 2 McLarens battling it out. VR trying to get behind him, but rotation up into second. But Knight already building a gap up to 1.1 second. The 2 McLarens side by side just about, but a fantastic start for the Alpine driver, as Jordan unfortunately disqualified. A very upsetting start from the AlphaTauri that looked to have technical issues off the line. And before even getting to go for the 5 red lights, we are down 1 driver here. But we've got Nazareth, who's putting a lot of pressure on Krishna. He's going to go forward here as they're approaching that apex, or that chicane, as I should call it, side by side. But Krishna getting a slightly better line as he makes that work for him, as we can see the rest of the grid going through. But here we go, Krishna Nazareth stowing once again side by side as they're going around the final few corners. Oh no, and they touch Martin, and that's Krishna going off track. Nazareth losing out 1 position. Krishna most likely not too happy about that. He felt, I feel, as if he might have been ahead there, but unfortunately it was not meant to be, as that's Krishna down in the last of the running cars. He's going to have his work cut out for him now. A little unfortunate there, as now Jay Will's having a bit of a moment through turn 1 and turn 2 as he's down the order. Calm Koala going down the orders. He's facing the wrong way. He's going to have to get back on track. He does reset there, but last of the running cars, the damage has been done. Now, crucially, though, back at the front, you've got VR once again putting a little bit of pressure. There's a bit of a gap now forming as a yellow flag for Calm Koala once again. But Knight, that 1.1 second gap already down to about 0.6 of a second, as you can see rotation starting to put some pressure here on the leader of this race. As Bacher now getting ahead of Dark on the circuit, as that's Jay Wills not having a good start of the race, as he went for a little bit of a spin, getting back on track here. But so far it's been some very good battles. So on this race, everybody keeping close to one another. You've got you can see, I think that was Nazareth going a little bit wide, and that might open the door. There's Nazareth actually diving into the pits there, as he's going to get a change of tires, possibly a new front wing. I think with that incident with Krishna, Nazareth putting the hard tires on, and I believe Krishna as well will be putting on a set of mediums. Bacher and Hartman having a little bit of a battle on track here. Hartman getting ahead. Here comes Dark, though, on those hards. They're starting to find temperature. Can he get them both? Down the inside he goes. Yes, he does get them both, as now Bacher's still trying to get by Hartman. Is he going to go for it down the inside? Hartman leaves the door open, but for Bacher, just unable to keep the car in on grip here, as he will remain in 14th. Hartman still in 13th, but Dark getting ahead of both of them as he's working his way. He's up into P12 right now, but back to the leaders. You can see still keeping pace with one another here. Knight leading the way, rotation 7/10 of a second behind. He's keeping pace, but really not gaining much time here. I think might be waiting for DRS to truly try to get that advantage. So Fionn and DeRoy, the two McLarens, running 3rd and 4th. Right behind the Red Bull driver, and VR, formerly the pole position sitter, really had an awful start of this race and lost the lead before even turn 1, as he's down in 5th and trying to damage control a little bit here, trying to keep up with the two McLarens. Hartman and Dark exchanging positions a little bit further down the field, and there's Bacher and Dark exchanging positions. Let's quickly go take a look at this battle, as they are all having this 3-car battle, switching positions. I think DRS helping out there a little bit, but that's been since sorted. Here comes rotation though, as he's 2/10 of a second riding on board with the Red Bull driver, as DRS really played a hand in this catch-up, but just unable to close up enough to get that overtake done, as he remains in second. Meanwhile, DeRoy, is he going to try to go for a move on his teammate? SFR Morse and Captain Blade switching positions here, as Captain Blade gets ahead up into P7, and he's trying to chase down the second Red Bull of D-Morts, who's starting to put a little bit of pressure on D-Morts, on VR46 Toronto, I should say, who going a little bit wide, hot in the corner he goes, and that's going to open the door for Captain Blade ever so slightly. Can D-Morts hang on? It looks like he does for now, as now SFR Morse is going to go for it. They all have DRS. It's going to be a battle. Let's quickly take a look here at the two McLarens, as they're going to go side by side here. DeRoy down in 4th. Lucci is getting ahead of Du Will to go up into 9th. Du Will down in 10th. But as far as the leaders are concerned, it's still Knight leading, rotation in 2nd. So Knight able to hang on, even with that DRS threat from rotation. Knight doing what he has to do to keep the lead of this Grand Prix through the one and only DRS zone of this track here. But it's been a fantastic race, and you can see the two McLarens, they're battling amongst each other, but they're being safe, they're being responsible out of it. They're in a great spot right now, running 3rd and 4th. You don't want them to come together here and create the worst case scenario for the McLaren constructor team, and I think they're both well aware of that, looking to possibly just work as a team, use that DRS to their advantage, create a gap between themselves and VR, as they're going to try to continue to close up to rotation. But once again, let's jump on board with rotation, see what he's got. He's got DRS open. Can he close up enough? You can see the gap closing very quickly. Gonna have to go to the outside, and he does get the overtake done here on lap 6. We do have a lead change, as it is now the Red Bull of rotation who is up into the lead, up into P1 now, as Knight has to can do nothing but watch as the Red Bull speeds by him. Down in 2nd is the Alpine driver, but crucially able to still keep those two McLarens behind, as we might see a little bit of a change of lead here if they can keep this gap as close as it has been, with that one DRS zone very, very long, very easy, and probably the most prime opportunity to overtake on this entire track, as long as you can keep within that 1 second mark, which it seems like the entirety of the top 10 has been doing here. They've been in a little bit of a train, as riding on board with Sophion, but behind Du Will from 11th downwards, that's where the gaps are starting to form here, ever so slightly more of the individual battles. But now you can see on board with Sophion as he's running in 3rd. We'll get a bit of a view as Knight gets to open up DRS, and you can see Knight just getting a slightly better exit out of that final corner than Sophion can, so it's not allowing the the McLaren driver to get ahead, but let's switch over to Knight. Is he going to go for it? They're going to go side by side into turn 1 and 2, and that's Knight retaking the lead. And here we go now. Sophion, he's going to challenge. Can DeRoy maybe challenge as well? It's maybe, are we going to go 3 wide into the next corner? It was close, but they backed out here, and there goes rotation off track as he's going to go all the way down into P5 now. Knight, Sophion in second, DeRoy in third, and here comes rotation battling back on VR46 Yarno. Side by side, they go through this next corner section, but it looks like it's going to be VR who hangs on to that position. So rotation, that mistake going wide was a little costly here, as now he finds himself ahead of his teammate, but a little bit of a tank slapper there, as you can see Demort's now trying to put pressure. He's saying, well, get a move on or let me through. I want to go for this here. I'm still involved in this race. So we'll see how that's all going to play out, as it looks like the dust has a little bit settled here, but not for too long, as here we go once again around the final corner. DRS once again will be active, and this train of cars is going to go for it once again. This time Knight is not going to have DRS. Here comes Sophion very quickly getting that overtake done, as the McLaren driver now leading the race. Knight remaining in second, with DeRoy hanging on into third. So it's McLaren, Alpine, McLaren here for the top three, with VR staying in fourth. But here you can see the two Red Bulls really putting pressure on one another here, maybe battling, and rotation conceding that position to his teammate, and he's going to have to watch out here as Captain Blade is starting to put a little bit of pressure, a bit of a tank slapper from rotation on the exit. And is that going to be what Captain Blade needs to go for the move? Riding on board with, almost a big moment there, as rotation once again having to go wide, trying to get ahead of his teammate. And you can see slight mistakes from rotation. Captain Blade, I think, maybe having a little bit of a moment there too as we were on board. But from second down to seventh goes the Red Bull driver here, as he has not had a good 2 laps or so from his end, as he's going to have to just calm himself down and get his head down and just go back forward. Just try to use DRS, try to use his battery to his advantage, and climb his way back up the order here. But here comes DeRoy now. Is he going to maybe go for it? Driver ahead has DRS, driver behind has DRS, so we are in a little bit of a train. Here comes Knight Nosy. There's a little bit of contact there, it seemed, as he's going to try to go for the overtake nearly alongside, as going into the next corner on board with the Alpine, but it is going to be the McLaren of Sophion who hangs on to P1 here on lap 9. What a race this has been. VR starting to close up as well, as he's been lurking in the shadows in P4 now. Diamorts as well. This whole top 5 now is all essentially within a second of another. Is Diamorts going to try to go for something here? He was a little bit close, but I think had to back out ever so slightly, struggling with the dirty air through this track. But what a race this has been so far, and we're only 9 laps into this Grand Prix. It's only going to get better from here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, and we've got a yellow flag in Sector 2, and that is Hartman out of this Grand Prix. What happened to Hartman? Let's quickly, ever so slightly, switch over, and there you can see, I think, just on the exit of that corner, Hartman might have lost the car into the wall, and that's the end of his race. Down and will be finishing. He's our second retirement. You can see drivers pitting here for the soft tires. I don't know if they're banking possibly on the safety car to come out, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. They're getting off the soft tires, looking to get on the hard tires now, so could be their scheduled pit stop as well, trying to go for the undercut. But now Sophion still leading Knight in second here, but now Demort's in third, rotation in fourth, as both DeRoy and VR46 Yarno went for their pit stops here, as they might try to go a little bit longer. DeRoy on the hards, VR46 Yarno, meanwhile, he put on a set of medium tires. So that's going to be a lot to ask for VR to go 22 laps to the end of this Grand Prix. If he is looking to keep with that 1 stop, he might just need to get a 2 stop done, pit for another set of soft tires, might be banking for a late-ish safety car, or quite possibly, as I'm looking at the weather now, quite possibly minor chance of rain here if if the conditions possibly worsen, if the cloud cover gets ahead. But for us here, a slight break in the on-track action, we can say, as we're starting to get in to the pit stop strategies, and here we go. One lap later, there goes Sophia Knight, D-Mort's all into the pits, a couple other drivers following suit, rotation, and Morris meanwhile staying out. Here comes Duwill as he's gonna go for an overtake on SFR Morris. Duwill on the mediums can go a little bit longer, so we might be starting to feel that pace kick in compared to the soft tire runners. Another yellow flag is, oh no, was that, who was that? That's a Ferrari of, that was Krishna once again, a back marker there, going off track. So from bad to worse there. Lucci is getting ahead of SFR Morris, as I think Morris having having a little bit of struggles here on those soft tires. Would not be surprised to see him dive into the pits. But crucially now, Lucci's is the lead car of the Aston Martins. So if Lucci's is going to be pitting, that might be bad news for Morris, who's going to have to stay out for an extra lap here on those softs. So we'll see how that's going to play out with these two cars, as the pit strategies are starting to get into full effect here. But once again, looking at the pit stoppers, Sophion in essentially a quote-unquote net lead of the race, having taken his scheduled pit stop already. VR46 Yarno up into second now, so it looks like that undercut worked out for Sophion. There goes rotation in the pits. Morris pitting, and Lucci staying out here for an extra lap. So interesting, and Bacher staying out as well. But once again, that will promote the likes of Sophion ahead if they can get ahead of both rotation and Morris. It looks like that will be the case. It's going to be close, though, as now VR might be trying to go for it, and these pit stop runners might just end up... Oh no, they're going to be well behind there. It's a much longer pit lane than you might initially expect here around Imola. It looks like it's going to be close, but you're just stuck in that pit limiter for so long once you exit that pit box that you can do nothing but just wait for that line to go before you can accelerate back up to racing speed. But for now, Duwill leading this Grand Prix on a set of medium tires with Lucci's and Bacher in second and third. They are going to have to take a pit stop, though, I believe. Jav in fourth and Dark in fifth, looking to go long. And like I said, keep an eye out on Dark, not off the start. Really didn't have much to talk about for Dark on the start, but keeping his nose clean, keeping up here. He does maybe have a little bit of pressure behind him, but that is a lapped car of Krishna. But Dark up into P5 now. There goes Lucci's and Bacher into the pits. So now that will promote Dark up into P3. So now, that said, with Dark up into third, Jav and Duwill in first and second on the medium tires, the last three of the remaining cars who need to take a pit stop here. Let's switch back over as VR carrying a lot of speed with DRS. Mick goes for the move down the inside, gets ahead of Sophion well before the braking zone of turn 1. So there is VR in the up into P4, which is the quote-unquote net lead of the race. And oh no, that was Lucci's having a bit of a moment there as he's in the wall just on the exit of his pit stop. He's getting back on track now, but that is the last thing he wanted. Just so close after pitting for a set of medium tires. Hopefully that's not any wing damage, though, for the Aston Martin driver, as that is really unfortunate for him, as he was running otherwise a good race so far. Now rotation once again, he finds himself behind Knight, who almost had a moment there on the exit of that corner, but was 2 tenths behind, a little bit bigger of a gap now. Apologies for that, but I think rotation might be trying to go for an overtake, but we'll keep an eye out now on Sophion, as he's going to try to put the pressure on VR for this P4. Can he do it? Can he maybe retake the net lead of this race once the pit stops happen? Assuming we don't have another incident, here he goes. He's going to have to go the long way around on the outside, but does get ahead before the braking zone. So the McLaren does retake P4. Meanwhile, Demortz and DeRoy switch positions, but DeRoy coming right back here as It's going to be a great battle. They're going to go alongside here in the next corner. D-Morts gets the inside line, gets ahead before the next corner, set of corners here. So D-Morts up into 6th. Captain Blade and Rotation having a little bit of a battle. There is Captain Blade on the inside. Can Rotation stick it around the outside? No, he can't. So that's Captain Blade up into P9, Rotation down in 10th. And the battles are just going to continue where they left off here as... let's see, Hartman was watching for a little bit here, but he's left that session now. Gonna be moving on to other things, but Captain Blade now, is he gonna go for a move on Knight? He's gaining very close, but might just wait for DRS to try to go for it here. But you can see putting a lot of pressure here as they approach the final 2 corners of the lap, nearing the start of lap 16 here. So just approaching the midway point of this race are these drivers. Crucially though, here comes VR. Like we've seen lap after lap after lap, there's VR now overtaking Sophion to retake the lead of the race. Knight and DeRoy switching positions. So unfortunately for Captain Blade, he's unable to get ahead of Knight. So now he gets to see the McLaren in front of him for a little bit of company. As meanwhile, Rotation, he's gonna try to go for the run. Does he have it here? He's gonna try to lunge it down the inside. There's a little bit of contact between the 2 drivers. Keeps it under control, but unfortunately for Rotation, just can't quite stick it. Can't quite get the grip there. The contact might have had a little something to do with it, taking a little bit of cautionary action there. But for Rotation remaining in 10th, Captain Blade in 9th, and DeRoy still in 8th. As it's been nothing but action here for the entirety of this race so far. Perfect, around the final corner come VR and Sophion now, as you might see a little bit of an exchange, but VR getting a little bit more on the pace now. Sophion can have a little bit more to close up on, but DRS extremely powerful here around this track, as you can see. But it looks like VR was able to build just enough of a gap here on lap 16 to keep up that P4. Meanwhile, the top 3 though, Will just doing what he has to do here. A 13-second lead here from himself and Jav. I think Will, he's just trying to build up a gap as much as he can before those tires fall off a cliff, so that he can pit for a set of softs and limit the damage and find himself possibly in the in this battle here, like we've seen he has been. Maybe gain a few positions on strategy. Jav 13 seconds behind him, with Dark trying to close up here on those hard tires. So we're slowly but surely approaching the point where the medium tires might just start to fall off ever so slightly. But we'll see how that's all going to play out. They might have to extend a little bit to around lap 20 to lap 22 if they want to take a set of soft tires comfortably to the end of this race. Meanwhile, back here for the battle for what is P4 on track. You've got now Sophion as we're on board with, and there's a yellow flag here. That might be Lucci's having another moment. I think it's just going to be a yellow flag and nothing more, as Sophion was closing, but unable to close up enough. Meanwhile, Rotation gets ahead of Captain Blade. Oh, but that's Rotation going for a little bit of a spin there. Captain Blade regains position. As you saw, DeRoy had to go wide as well. Maybe they came into contact, the 2 drivers, not too sure there. As we switch back over to the spectator cam, but here comes Captain Blade, putting a lot of pressure all over the back of the McLaren of DeRoy. Going down the inside goes Captain Blade in that Alfa Romeo, as they're side by side now approaching the next corner section, but the inside line goes to Captain Blade, and he does get the overtake done. He's up into P8, but for how long now, as there goes Bacher now ahead of Rotation. But does that Red Bull have wing damage? Yes, he does. He's got a little bit of end plate damage there, unfortunately, so that might be an extra pit stop for Rotation if he feels that's too much to handle, and quite possibly might just look to extend a set of soft tires. But very unfortunate taking that slight damage. and as Calm Koala now is off track, he has to go back on. He's got no front wing on that Alpine, and that, ladies and gentlemen, will bring out a virtual safety car, and I think that's great news for rotation to try to limit that damage here. But for those who were running, trying to go for the overtake, unfortunately for them, no dice here. As you can see, P4, P5, I just noticed that, have essentially built themselves a little bit of a gap here from D-Morts in 6. So I think showing how the virtual safety car might have affected a little bit, forcing drivers behind to slow down. But we'll see when we go back to green. Hopefully should be soon. But you can see a couple drivers, rotation, Nazareth, J-Wheels, pitting for possibly a new set, well, definitely a new set of tires, but possibly a new set of wings as well. But meanwhile, Dark, Jav, and Duwil, both, all three of these drivers staying out under the virtual safety car. But as they're approaching the final corner, are we going to see some of them bite the bullet here? Let's start with Duwil. Around the final corner he goes. He's going to take his pit stop. Jav has a little bit more of a gap to close up to. But we're back to green flag racing, so not too much time saved by Duwil. Comp Koala gets a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Jav is staying out as he's not going to take that pit stop under the under green flag just yet. But interesting, Duwil putting a set of hard tires on. So he's taking that pit stop, trying to save a little bit of time here as Krishna now out of this race. As, oh no, there's Krishna. There's that car on track there, as that was a complete DNF on track. Is that going to bring out a safety car? As we've got a lot of traffic passing that car, but doesn't look like it's going to be the case, as he is a lap car here. So it seems like the ghosting of that lap car means we're just going to continue racing as we normally would. So maybe not what Jav was hoping for here, but for Duwil, who's on your screen now, he's out in P8 and has a 3-second gap to close up for, but on slightly fresher tires, running a set of hard tires that can definitely go to the end of this Grand Prix, compared to those ahead who are on a set of medium tires who are going to be looking to push to go to the end. Maybe, just maybe, might have to take a second pit stop for a set of softs if the battling was just too much to handle for the tires, but we'll see how this all plays out. But for now, it's Jav who is leading this Grand Prix on a set of mediums, who's going to continue for one more lap, 3 seconds or so ahead of Sophion, who is in second, leading this this group of cars here of himself, VR, and D-Morts, trying to fight for the net lead. Captain Blade gets ahead of Knight with the help of DRS, and we've got another yellow flag here as that's rotation once again having a little bit of a moment. So like we were mentioning here, keys to victory for rotation was consistency. He was showing a lot of that in the opening stages of the race, but it seems like over the last little bit, it's gone out the window ever so slightly for the Red Bull driver, as he's finding himself now down in 13th. Hopefully there's no wing damage though on that Red Bull, so he can just continue onwards. We'll see how that's going to play out for him. Meanwhile, the other Red Bull D-Mort's putting pressure on VR46 Yarno, only 0.3 of a second behind. He's got a little bit of a gap of between himself and Captain Blade. Around, it was 0.8 of a second, but oh no, there goes D-Mort's a little bit too quick on the power. Goes for a little bit of a half spin there, brings out a yellow flag. As you can see now, both Duwil and SFR Morris getting ahead. So a costly mistake from D-Mort's here on the exit of that chicane sends them down to P9. Thankfully though, no wing damage, so we can just continue onwards. Just a couple positions lost. Jav, meanwhile, finally takes that pit stop. It was time, he felt. So he's we'll see where he's going to end up after all of that. VR now, he's battling now for what is officially the lead of the race, but Sophion keeping him behind here on lap 21 out of 32. So approaching, closing to the end of this race here, as it is now lap 21 out of 32. It's going to be a good battle here, ladies and gentlemen, as we're nearing the end. And another yellow flag here. That's an Alpine. It looks like that's Comp Koala who's not having a race to remember here in Imola, as he's getting back on track, but down in 16th, and that's another virtual safety car, ladies and gentlemen, right as VR was closing on Sophion. So, interesting here. Is anybody going to bite the bullet and maybe try to pit under virtual safety car, or are they all going to go to the end, hope that track position is going to be enough? Let's see how this all plays out as they're coming around the final corner. An interesting call, an interesting turn of events here, as both VR and Captain Blade, they decide they want to pit for a set of soft tires under the virtual safety car. Meanwhile, everybody else, the likes of Sophion, Knight, DeRoy, staying out on their initial set. They might try to go to the end of the race here. They're committing to that initial strategy here, choosing track position over taking that pit stop. But they've also got now Do Will, who's only 4 seconds behind this group of cars on a fresher set of hard tires, but he's going to be pressured by SFR Morris, as, oh no, Jav takes a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. Not something you want to be doing here. A very crucial mistake here with only 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, you can see DeRoy putting a lot of pressure on Knight. SFR Moore still putting pressure on Do Will, as we saw here. But Comp Koala, as he's taking a pit stop here, putting on a fresh set of softs, taking that front wing change. You can see he was being lapped here, I believe, or overtaken by Lucchesi. But approaching the point of being lapped from Sophion, who's the lead runner. There he is there, just ahead. But Sophion now has a 2-second gap to the next driver behind, which is Knight. They're both on similar tires. So Knight in the Alpine, he's going to have to maybe push a little bit here, has a little bit of VRS in the tank. But crucially, Sophion, I believe, has just that little bit more compared to Knight, with DeRoy also the teammate to Sophion in that second McLaren, putting a little bit of pressure here on the Alpine driver. And you can see Do Will still 2.4 seconds behind, but he can see that that McLaren of DeRoy in his sights. So that might be the extra motivation Do Will needs, as we've got another yellow flag here. What is that for? That might have just been, I believe, Comp Koala maybe going slowly to not affect any of the cars ahead that are on the lead lap, as it looks like that's been sorted out relatively quickly, as Demorse takes a time second penalty. Let's quickly switch over here to the penalties here. So lots of 3-second time penalties. The top three keeping it clean, but it seems like essentially Do Will all the way down from P4 all the way down to P14 have at least a 1 time second penalty, and they're starting to add up here for a couple drivers. You can see a rotation with 9 seconds, Nazareth with 6 seconds, Dark with 6 seconds, and of course Jav still has that drive-through penalty he's going to have to serve. The two Alpine drivers, though, getting caught up in one another. It looks like going very wide was Comp Koala, and he's actually into the wall. That's the end of his Grand Prix here, and that brought out a full safety car. Oh my goodness, lap 24 out of 32. That has brought out the full caution safety car. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to make things very exciting. The grid is going to be bunched up here, and I don't know how the drivers are going to feel about this. If we switch back over to the tires, the top three, I mean, on one hand, Knight is going to be able to close back up to Sophion, but it's equally going to allow some of these other drivers who are on the soft tires, who pit just a lap or two ago, to essentially close back up and get right back into this race. So how is this going to play out here? As this Sophion taking that final corner, he's going to pit for softs. What's Knight going to do? He's going to pit for softs as well. DeRoy, he's staying out on a set of hard tires, but he's going to have to not double stack with the McLaren. both Do Will, Morris, and Demorts are all of them pitting for a fresh set of soft, but crucially now, Captain Blade coming around the final corner. He might have just gotten a little bit of a gift here, as he might still be under Delta, but a couple of these drivers who pit just one lap or two ago, Captain Blade VR, they're just going to overtake here. So not necessarily what those lead runners would have wanted, as they get a fresh set of tires, but now is essentially neutralized this race in more ways than one, as well, DeRoy, I believe he's going to pit. I don't think DeRoy is going to stay out on a set of hard tires. He's just going to try to stick onto the safety car here. He's going to lead the charge, but he's going to take that pit stop. It might feel as if he's just still going to save a little bit more time compared to if he had double stacked with his teammate, but I'd be surprised to see DeRoy stay out on that set of hard tires, knowing everybody behind him is pitting for a fresh set of softs that can really be pushed to the end of this Grand Prix. But Captain Blade, VR46 Yarno, they've just been given a gift. The gift of P2, P3, since they pit about 2 laps ago before that safety car came out. So that strategy working out for them here. Meanwhile, Sophion and Knight, who are in the net lead, find themselves down in P4, P5, albeit they are essentially the only drivers who still have a clean track record to their name, other than DeRoy, who's now, come to think of it, might just want to stay out for the sake of that clean track record. But I feel those hard tires are just going to fall off a cliff. I feel as though they're just going to... He's just not going to have the pace here. But he's committed. He's staying out here under safety car. This is really going to make things interesting here once the safety car does go in, as we're really going to have a sprint to the finish. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a good one. So I'll take this moment under safety car just to take a quick breather here as I leave you with DeRoy. I'll be back in just a few moments to take us through any possible changes, any possible strategy updates, and of course the restart here under the safety car restart. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back in just a moment here for the finale here of the penultimate round of the Division 2 Championship, so stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Just got my sip of water, just caught my breath a little bit here, and rotation taking a 5-second penalty, a severe collision with Nazareth, as I believe both drivers got handed that. Nazareth might be able to appeal that though, since he is the driver ahead. We'll see how that's all gonna play out. But on lap 27 out of 32 here, is the safety car going to come in as, rotation. What happened here? A little bit of a moment there from the Red Bull driver under safety car, and we've got one more lap here under safety car. I was all but convinced here with the grid having bunched up that it was going to come in at the end of this lap. But not quite the case here. Unfortunately, we just have one more lap to go, and rotation diving into the pit lane. Let's see if he's going to get that tire changed, or if he's going to call it here. It's lap 28 out of 32 with DeRoy leading this Grand Prix under safety car, but as mentioned before that little breather, he's the only driver who stayed out here, quite possibly because his teammate was leading the Grand Prix here before the safety car was brought out from the incident of Bicom Koala. That did bring out that safety car initially. DeRoy staying out. He's sticking with those hard tires. We'll see how that's going to work out for him here, as Captain Blade VR46 they had gotten a gift. They had pit about a couple laps before the safety car came out for a set of soft tires, so they were already on that optimal strategy. Meanwhile, the formerly race leader Sophion and Knight were battling for P1, P2, but now they find themselves down in P5, P6, and they are going to have to get a bit of a move on here as the laps tick down. But hopefully, like I was saying, as we approach Sector 3, fingers crossed that the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, because we've done a couple laps here in a safety car, and as much as I love watching Bert Mylander drive that red safety car here around Imola, I would much rather see these Formula One cars charge around the field. But around the final corner we go, and we've got another lap here under safety car. So ladies and gentlemen, it's an extended safety car here in Imola, the likes of which I'll be honest, I've never seen before. I mean, of course, we've seen it in the real life Grand Prix laps under safety car, but I'll be honest, as far as the F1 2021 game is concerned, and some of the other F1 installments, generally the safety car stays out for about 3 laps maximum, just to give time for the grid to catch up before it dives into the pits. But it is a new lap, maybe slightly different programming here on this new track. Not new lap, new track is I'm trying to say here, but it's really ticking down the laps here, and I mean, I want to get back to racing. I want to see how this race is going to finish under green flag. I don't want to have this race finish under the safety car. I mean, all for realism, but let's be honest, that Alpine Comp Koala that was in the wall is probably poofed and disappeared about 2.5 laps ago at the very least. But nonetheless, here we are under safety car, riding on board now with DeRoy, as you can see, getting his tires warmed up. Hopefully this is the lap that will bring the safety car into the pits. And Jav taking a 5-second penalty for collision with Nazareth. That is not ideal here. Through the chicane we go. And Dark taking a penalty for collision with Nazareth. Safety car. Are we going to go in at the end of this lap? Please? I beg? I'll be your friend? No? Alright. I'll be honest, folks, I'm a little bit speechless here. I'd love to be giving you much better commentary than this, but you can see DeRoy, he's anxious to get ahead. I'm sure down in the pit wall they're anxious to get ahead. Nazareth taking a pit stop. A couple other drivers here, Jav pitting. So interesting call here, getting a new front wing, fresh set of tires here, as they're going to equally serve those 5-second penalties. Not ideal, but this is a really, really interesting call here from the marshals here in Imola to keep the safety car out for as long as it has been. I don't quite understand it. I do feel the track is clean and ready to go, but not quite. Doesn't quite seem like it's the case. I'm praying, hoping we don't have just one of these infamous bugged lobbies that this game is renowned for. And I'm just hoping that we can get back to green flag racing. Sorry about that, folks. I wanted to just open up the stream, see what the chat had to say, if they had any thoughts, any input. But it looks like we've got a little bit of insight on what happened to Jordan. For those who remember, about 30 laps ago now, Jordan unable to get off the line, and that is why he has that DSQ. Just wasn't allowed to take control of his car. Really unfortunate. Finally, the safety car is in here at the end of this lap, so it's going to be a green-white checkered flag racing. Let's be honest, though, it could have been in about 3 laps ago, and we would have been perfectly fine with that, but at least we will have some green flag racing to the end of this race. So, DeRoy getting that last little bit of heat in his tires. There we go. Safety car entering the pit lane around the final corner. Let's see how this is all going to play out. A little unfortunate that there's no DRS here, as now DeRoy going for it. Across the line he goes. Dark and Jay Wills exchanging positions as it's going to be a little bit of a chaotic start here, leading into turn 1. Let's keep an eye out on the leaders. It looks like that's Knight going to try to go for an overtake here. VR is in third. Knight, I think, tried to slip it by Sophion, but not quite the case here. Captain Blade, is he going to be able to go for an overtake? Is he's going to attempt a switchback here? SFR Morris and Do Will going alongside one another. That was a Mercedes. That's Dark going very wide off of track, as he's going to have to get back on. Yellow flags here as Jav is out of this Grand Prix. Unfortunate for him, as SFR Morris now alongside with Do Will, as they're going to go into the next corner section now. Do Will going a little bit wide, but single file here. But let's keep an eye out on the leaders. Captain Blade putting a little bit of pressure on DeRoy, but DeRoy hanging on to that lead on those 20-lap-old hard tires. He did what he has to do, but here on lap 31 out of 32, he's got one more lap to hang on with here. But I'm sure those who pit under that safety car must be a little bit furious with the length of the safety car. A little unfortunate for them here, as they're still stuck battling. Captain Blade, though, right up on the back of DeRoy. Is he going to be able to go for it? No DRS, unfortunately, here with that lengthy safety car. So it looks like, oh, what the heck happened here? Do Will is disqualified from the session for failing to respect the use of tire compounds. That's a load of BS here. For Do Will. Really unfortunate. Thankfully for him, though, it's not like it matters all that much, but I really don't understand that call. The marshals here are having a field day. It feels like we're in Jeddah right now, with Sophion and VR having a little bit of a battle going side by side. Knight getting involved as well here, so we got to stick to the on-track action as that remains single file, as they return back to single file with Sophion sticking to third. But you can see now a little bit more desperation as we're approaching the end. Oh, and there goes DeRoy going wide. I think the tires might just be starting to give out on him here. He's gonna have to survive for one more sector, as he's still putting pressure on Captain Blade, but there is that group of cars. He's only got about 2 corners to go. Can he get the power here? As there we can see, it might just be enough here with that safety car saving him. There's a little bit of contact, a bit of a desperation lunge here from a couple of these drivers around the final few corners, but across the line, it's Captain Blade who takes the win on track, but DeRoy Sophion up in second. Knight salvaging a podium as Captain Blade falls down to 4th here. Everybody else crossing the line in quick succession here, as really not much time to get the gaps done. But my goodness, I mean, what a finale that was, as Bacher gets driver of the day. Now, I'm saying what a finale, but I feel like, unfortunately, though, it's a finale for quite possibly maybe not the right reasons, as like I was mentioning, that safety car really taken over the star of the show here, staying out a lot longer than it probably needed to, with the grid having bunched up quite a few laps to go. But nonetheless, it's a double podium for McLaren as they make that work out, as Knight still salvaging a P3. Although I'm sure for the likes of Sofia and Knight, maybe hoping for a little bit more there. But there you have it. That is the end of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix here in Imola. Or in Imola, I guess. Imola, I don't know. It's De Roy from second on the grid. He takes the win here with Sofian in second and Knight from third, finishing in third here. Captain Blade crossed the line in the lead, but that 3-second penalty was all it needed. With that late safety car entry, wasn't able to build up enough of a gap. Falls down to fourth. VR in fifth. Lucis, Demors, J. Wills, Bacher, and Morris running out the top 10. There is the rest of the field here. Rotation, Dark, Nazareth, Javin, Com Koala, Krishna Hartman, Jordan, and Do Will. You can see some of the DNFs there from Com Koala down. But like I said, a little bit of a controversial end to the Division 2 Championship. F1 2021, just doing F1 2021 things, I guess. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen something, well, it's the first time I've seen something like this, but as far as all that is concerned, would not be the first time. I mean, quite possibly a bug might have affected that there, but nonetheless, that was still a very exciting race. The on-track battles we had for essentially the entirety of the race more than make up for that little blip at the end, and even the last few laps was just fantastic to see. And I think part of why I'm a little upset about that safety car staying out for as long as it did myself, because we saw we saw the type of battling these drivers could have on track, and I would have loved to see them settle that on track. But that is but nonetheless, that is going to bring us to the end of the end of the stream here, after what was I mean, all considered a very, very exciting penultimate round of the championship. But ladies and gentlemen, worry not, we do have one more race for you here today, coming up in about just under 40 minutes time or so. It's going to be the main event. It's going to be Division 1 as they take their turn here around Imola, as they have their race, their Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Like I said, that's in about 40 minutes time from the time that it is right now here. But as far as the Division 2 Championship is concerned, it's the end of the race, and we will be seeing you all next week for Division 2 as we take to Interlagos, the textbook finale race here for ISRL. It'll be the Brazilian Grand Prix. That'll be next week, same time, same place. But like I said, Division 1, we still have a race for you here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to say thank you so much for watching this race. I do hope you enjoyed the action as much as I did myself here from the commentator's booth. And until next time, have yourselves a fantastic afternoon or a fantastic evening.